Good afternoon. This is Glenn Chambers from Becoming God's Man in Ministry. We have been promoting our next conference, which will be Bobby Bowden, that we're excited and thrilled to have him as our guest speaker. And one of the things that's happened is different people have called me up looking for information, and I invite you to do it also. 727-418-8698, or definitely go to our website, becominggodsman.com, to register for the upcoming conference. One of the phone calls I have is going to be a guest of ours today, Mr. Douglas Shepard. Doug gave me a call, and as we talked, he shared the influence Bobby. He and his son went to a Bobby Bowden conference some time ago and heard him speak. And I don't want to say any more than that. I would just simply ask Doug to share with me and share with us what you shared with me. I was really touched by that, and I think this is something that needs to get out.
We, years and years ago, my son and I had been to a small church where Bobby Bowden, his whole life and career, has always been giving talks to big groups and very, very small groups. And we saw him at a small church in Bradenton. I had him read a couple of his books as they came out. He's got 4 out. And I kept being so impressed with Coach Bowden, just enjoying the football part of it as one part. But my son was at Seminole High School playing football, just an average student. So when he graduated Seminole High, didn't know about college, we were kind of lost. Like, you don't have the grades to get in a 4-year school. And playing football, well, we weren't real sure. Well, Bobby Bowden came to St. Pete Beach in '99 when Jason graduated. He gave a talk to probably 50 seniors that were just graduating, and no benefit to him, but he told the room full of these young men, there is a school somewhere out there for you that you can play football. And so Jason, and I went, oh, okay. So Jason picked a small school called the University of West Alabama in Livingston, Alabama. I'm sure Coach Bowden knows about it. It's more trucks than cars. And the price was very reasonable. He could get in there, unlike Florida State or some of the major colleges, didn't have the grades, nor the money. So off we go, out there to Livingston. It's a small Mayberry type town, and I thought, this is perfect. And he played a little bit his freshman year, not too much sophomore year, but what he did do is get his grades up by getting tutored and helped, and got into the University of Central Florida. He wouldn't have made that one start if Coach Bowden hadn't encouraged him and these other young men to do this. And that was a great experience for him. It was a little difficult. It was a long ways from home. Didn't bother him. It's the Gulf Coast Conference. It's very competitive, good football. I encourage all parents. College isn't for everybody, but Coach Bowden does this all the time. Constantly encouraging people. It's maybe not football related, but he was doing that for the good of these young men to continue with their education. I had taken Jason when I was doing some work at the University of Florida when he was a junior, and that got him thinking, there's a next level to this high school. I want to go there. I want to be there. Well, you couldn't be there. So when Jason got into Central Florida, he got a part-time job, and he looked at ROTC as a way to help offset college expense. And there was something about that he seemed to enjoy, a group effort. Jason graduated as second lieutenant, like they all do, and said he was going to apply for flight school, which everybody was kind of surprised because, A, his grades at Central Florida wasn't that great. But he was accepted and got through Columbus, Mississippi, and then went on and cross-trained with the Navy at Corpus Christi. His next stop was Anchorage, Alaska, flying corporate planes at King Airs. It's called C-12s. He kept moving along and going all over different places incredible stories where he went. Afghanistan, Iraq. He got into the 130s, which was the big cargo planes, and then got into being an instructor pilot with the new J-130s, which are the new 130 models. Just this past summer, he turned 40, became a lieutenant colonel, and is the squadron commander for the 86th Airlift Wing in Ramstein Air Force Base, which is one of the largest wings in the Air Force that supplies, of course, the Middle East. He has, I think, 22 officers, 157 enlisted, 5 different aircraft in 4 different countries. So I encourage men and women to look to get that degree, or even enlisted is wonderful. This is a time when young men and women need to serve in the military. It's a great resume. It's a great asset to our country. Whoever's going to be president, we need the best on the front lines with our military, Air Force, Navy, whatever. There's a job for everybody out there, and it is a fantastic group effort. The resume alone, they are proud, they are having a good time, and where you are in high school, you need to understand you got to have your ducks in a row in high school. They don't want problem jobs. They don't want kids with speeding tickets and drug abuse. You're not going to go into the military and have people around you that have issues. But we do need the finest young men and women, and that's those who go into our military, whether it's enlisted or becoming an officer. And there's a job for everybody. This country really needs you young people to get out there and do it. Like Bobby Bowden, he gives and gives and gives, and that one Saturday morning started his career going from Livingston to Central Florida and beyond, where no one ever dreamed of him getting to that position. There's so many other stories I could throw in there. They're trying to take Christ out of the military, which has always been a pretty faith-based organization. But it's just the young men and women are really good people. What we're facing in the future, those are the frontline people out there. And we really need to keep feeding that pipeline, not only for our country, but for them too. There's really not a better career out there. And that career is going to lead to a better career. Whatever it might be, if you do 6 years enlisted, boy, you're really a big jump ahead. But I started thinking, Coach Bowden is given his whole life, not football related, coming to churches and talking about being good fathers and good grandfathers, good husbands, and giving back. What he has done his whole life is phenomenal, and I keep thinking I need to do that. I need to follow Coach Bowden's way of life. And listening to him talk many times, reading his books, it's very inspirational. This is a tough world out there, raising kids, I know. But without men that give, like Coach Bowden has, we're all going to fall flat on our faces. Getting your grandkids into Sunday school. We're not going to have churches if we don't have Sunday schools. And we've seen it a lot. So, I just want to say, if you can follow Coach Bowden's theme of helping others, encouraging others, having a good idea and plugging it on, that's his great ministry besides being a coach. I'm not sure if it's Miss Ann just wanting him to get out of the house, but he's still moving around quite a bit, which is pretty amazing. And it's apparently pretty good for him because I understand he's doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Doug, I thank you so much for that testimony that you just gave, and I'm going to invite you to stick around and say some other things. This is obviously something that we're doing to try to have people to come with anticipation of what God's going to do in their life through not only Bobby but the other speakers that we're going to have. This is our 6th conference, and by the way, none of this is scripted. When I come and invite someone in and we talk about Bobby or about our ministry or about how God's active in their life, we have not sat down and had any kind of discussion other than the first time, like with Doug here. I was just so impressed by the thing that he said about his son and other things that I invited him to come in and then speak to us not once but twice. So what you're hearing now, we're going to be putting out pretty quickly before Bobby Bowden come in. But stay tuned. This won't be the last you heard of Doug. We thank you for your patience and attention, listening to us. We definitely want to invite you to go to our website, invite a friend, go to YouTube, go to Roku TV, check us out, see a little bit about our ministry. So many things that Doug said here today is so exciting for me to hear. And I want to look forward to not only the conference but beyond the conference, to people being inspired through Bobby, through 8 other speakers, to go out and literally just become the man God wants them to be. Thank you for attention. I hope you continue looking through our website, Roku, and through YouTube as well as Facebook. Thank you very much.